Hey, you've just stepped into the Caring Corner, where life's caregiving challenges meet a whole lot of heart and a dash of sass. I'm Mischelle O'Neal, and I'm here to serve up insights, inspiration, and real life tools to help you navigate caring for your kids and aging loved ones without forgetting about you. Expect everything from time management hacks and emotional wellness strategies to technology tips sprinkled with humor and tenacity. Are you ready? Let's get to it. Imagine carrying an invisible backpack filled with the weight of worries, emotions, and responsibilities that no one else can see. Now, picture wearing this backpack every single day while caring for someone you love. This is the unseen load of emotional labor in caregiving. Welcome to the Caring Corner. Hey, welcome to the Caring Corner. And I'm Mischelle O'Neal, your host and resident emotional wellness coach. And I am so glad that you're joining me here today. Whether it's your first time here or you're a regular listener, this is the place where we dive into real, raw, and relatable stories from the world of caregiving. For those who don't know me, I'm a passionate advocate and coach for caregivers, specializing in multi-generational and new caregivers. Through this podcast, we explore the challenges and triumphs of caregiving, offering support, tips, and community. And today, I'm tackling a rarely discussed but deeply felt topic: emotional labor in caregiving. I'll take the time and uncover what it is, how it impacts us, and most importantly, how we can manage this invisible yet heavy load. Stay with me as we explore the unseen load of emotional labor in caregiving. So, let's start by understanding what emotional labor really means, right? The term was coined by sociologist Arlie Hochschild in her 1983 book, The Managed Heart. Now, initially, it described the process of managing feelings and expressions to fulfill the emotional requirements of a job, like those in the service industry, like policemen, firemen, hotel service, whatever it was. But in the context of caregiving, emotional labor is about more than just physical tasks that we do each day. It's the invisible work of managing our own emotions and those of the person that we care for. Now, while physical tasks like bathing, feeding, and medication are all crucial, emotional labor involves providing comfort, ensuring our loved one feels valued, and managing the emotional atmosphere to reduce stress and anxiety. For instance, have you ever had to comfort your loved one who was anxious about their health? It's not just about their health physically, it's about providing emotional reassurance and positivity, even when you're feeling overwhelmed yourself. Or maybe you've noticed signs of depression in a family member and found ways to lift their spirits, perhaps by organizing a family game night or just sitting down and listening to them, being there. Sometimes that's one of the best things we can do for those who are going through. And let's not forget about handling family dynamics, right? As caregivers, we often find ourselves mediating between family members with different opinions about care decisions. It's our job to keep the conversations productive and supportive, making sure everyone feels heard and understood. So, to really demonstrate to you how this feels and to let you know, I know how it feels, it doesn't only happen in caregiving. Now, I remember, and I won't tell how many years ago, but I was on a traveling entertainment production called Tops and Blue, which was part of the military. And when you're on that, back there at that time, we would do that for 6 months. 6 months we were on the road, tearing down, putting things up, singing, dancing, performing almost every night, with a few nights that we'd have breaks. And so in this, we have a lot of different personalities. Now, there are 27 people in Tops and Blue, at least at that time. And each one of us had our own personalities. So, of course, there are going to be difference of opinions, there's going to be friction, all these things. And for me, it was important at that time to be like the mediator, to be the calm one, to not blow up. But what I found out is after Tops and Blue, 6 months down the road, after it was over, I was totally spent. In fact, so much so that for 2 years, I wouldn't sing afterwards. I didn't want to be in entertainment. It had totally wiped me out. And that, my friend, is what emotional labor does. It totally depletes everything you have in you. Now, these are just a few examples of unseen load that we carry, especially as caregivers. Emotional labor is all around us, yet is often unrecognized and undervalued. Emotional labor can greatly impact us as caregivers, both emotionally and physically. And one major effect is stress and burnout. And that's what I was just telling you happened to me. You often find yourself in a state of hyper awareness, always on the lookout for the next need or crisis so that you can step in and be the savior. This leads to chronic stress and eventually burnout. Imagine feeling like you're running on empty, but still having to keep going because someone somewhere depends on you. Another thing is emotional exhaustion. That's where I ended up. Emotional exhaustion is another consequence. You feel drained and depleted, operating on autopilot because your emotional reserves are tapped out. This can make daily tasks feel robotic and disconnected. You're just doing it because you have to. You have to keep moving forward. But at that point, you feel absolutely nothing. Persistent emotional strain can also lead to mental health issues like depression and anxiety. You might find yourself feeling hopeless or persistently sad or constantly worried about your loved one's well being and the adequacy of your care. Are you good enough? Can you handle this? Can you take care of this? Now, the physical toll of emotional labor shouldn't be underestimated. I can't say that enough. Chronic fatigue sets in, making it hard to even get out of bed. The constant stress can weaken the immune system, leading to more frequent illnesses and exacerbates chronic conditions. Sleep disturbances are common too, where you're often experiencing insomnia or restless sleep due to your restlessness and responsibilities. It's always feeling like you're going to perform. You always have to be ready to perform, always on point, always ready. And we can't stay at that hypersensitive state all the time. Social and relationship strain is another important and significant impact. Are you finding yourself withdrawing from friends and family, feeling too exhausted to engage, leading to isolation and loneliness? And you wonder why you feel all alone, why you feel like nobody understands. The constant demands can make it hard to maintain social connection, deepening feelings of detachment. Nobody understands. Nobody gets what I'm going through, or they don't care. Finally, role strain and identity loss are so common. It can feel like your entire identity is centered around caregiving, leading to a loss of self and personal goals. For example, let's say you had a a love for painting. And now you find yourself note that you no longer have the time or the energy for your art. Now, this eventually results in profound sense of loss and resentment towards caregiving and your loved one because you feel out like you're giving up an important part of yourself, who you are, to be there for others. I know this sounds daunting and depressing, as it does to me as I'm even telling you, and I'm sharing it with you, but understanding these impacts is the first step towards managing them effectively. That's why it's important that you understand exactly what they look like. Recognizing the signs of emotional labor overload is crucial. One of the first signs is constant feeling of being overwhelmed. It's like it's like having a never-ending to-do list that you just can't keep up with. You might find yourself constantly anxious about forgetting something important. And even when you have a moment to relax, your mind is still racing about everything you have to do. Side note, write it down. Trust me, if you write it down and keep moving, it will be there for you when you need it. Another sign is irritability and mood swings. Have you ever snapped at a loved one over something trivial and then felt guilty because you know they didn't even deserve that, right? That's a classic sign of emotional overload. Your emotional reservoir is empty, and every little thing can set you off. Then there's withdrawal from social interaction. We just talked about that a little bit, but I want to go a little deeper so you really get a feel for it. It's easy to start avoiding friends and family because you're just too exhausted to engage. Even things like a short 15-minute conversation on the phone totally drains you. Maybe you've canceled plans or missed social events because you felt like you had nothing left to give. Just being there, just getting dressed for it, just getting ready, just making sure that everything is set so that you can go and have fun is just too much. So, what can we do about it? First, it's essential to take time for self reflection. I want you to hear that. Take time for self reflection. Spend a few quiet moments each day checking in with yourself. How are you feeling? What's on your mind? Sometimes simply acknowledging our emotions can be incredibly powerful. You're so busy doing, and in the midst of it, you forget to really analyze and assess where you are. Now, journaling is another great tool. By tracking your feelings and identifying patterns, you can start to recognize what triggers your stress and your emotional strain. Maybe you notice that after a particular tough day, you're more irritable than the next. Or perhaps certain tasks constantly or consistently leave you feeling overwhelmed. Is there is it a task that maybe you could delegate or maybe break it up or look at it differently? And don't forget the value of outside perspectives. Talk to a trusted friend or a family member or consider seeking professional help. They can offer insights that you might not see and provide strategies for managing stress. For instance, a close friend might point out that you've been a bit more withdrawn lately and encourage you to talk about it. Or a therapist could help you develop a plan to better manage your emotional labor. Recognizing and addressing emotional labor is not just important for your well-being, but also for the well-being of those you care for. It's a crucial step in ensuring that you can continue to provide the love and the support that your loved ones need without sacrificing your own health and happiness. So, I'm getting ready to give you quite a few ideas to think about as you look for ideas that you can try. And if there are a few that you'd like me to go more into, let me know. Let me know in the comments, and I will. I'll do an episode on it, maybe a live on it. I'll even demonstrate it for you because it's important that you have these tools in your toolkit. Managing emotional labor as a caregiver requires some creative approaches, and that's what I'm all about and I love to do. So let's start with self-care, okay? Think about finding joy in unusual places. Try recording nature soundscapes from your environment. Go outside early in the morning, 5:30, 6 in the morning. Nobody else is around, maybe a car or two, and you'll hear the birds chirping and leaves rustling or rain falling. And just sit there with your phone open, recording it. And then play these during your breaks to create a soothing atmosphere, to create and put you back in that place you were when you were recording it. Because I know while you were standing there recording it, you were soaking it all in. Or try engaging in creative destruction. What's creative destruction? Ooh, by safely deconstructing an item destined for the trash. This tactile activity can be surprisingly stress relieving. Girl, how many times does it feel? It feels good tearing things apart sometime, but you're only going to tear something apart that's already designated for the trash. But deconstructing this is a great stress reliever. And for relaxation, engage in what I call abstract art therapy. Use paints, crayons, or digital tools to create some abstract art. That way, it doesn't matter whether you're good or bad because it's abstract. Focus on the process and the colors and the shapes that you're creating. Do unusual shapes. It doesn't have to be a triangle or a circle or a square. Get creative. Another idea is aroma storytelling. Ooh, I'm giving you some good ones, right? Use different scents to evoke memories or create new stories, like the smell of lavender sachet, and imagine a calming scene. You sitting on the beach or out in a park between two trees in a hammock, and the breeze is just blowing over you. Your dress is slowly just flailing in the wind. You smell the bushes around you and you feel the sun on your face and your skin warming you. How does that feel? Or use a citrus scent to invigorate your mind. You see how these things work? Enhance mindfulness with gardening meditation. Spend time nurturing plants, focusing on their textures, the smells, and the sights. Put your hands in the dirt and wake it up just by kneading it for a little bit, loosening it up. Check your leaves. See if they need your tender. Talk to the plant. Or try cloud watching. One of my favorites. Lay on your back and watch clouds float by. Describe their shapes, letting your mind wander. There's amazing things that you could see in those clouds. And when seeking support, create things like a caregiving book club where you read and discuss books related to caregiving or inspirational stories. This provides support and stimulates your mind and your conversation. Or try a care package exchange with another caregiver or a group of caregivers, or do it within your caregiving book club, right? Exchanging small, thoughtful packages that are even more important because you're on the same journey. And so you know those little things that make a difference. Explore virtual hobby groups centered around a hobby that you enjoy, like maybe knitting or photography or cooking, and it can be virtual. These provide a break from caregiving and a supportive community. Imagine taking pictures of things just in your ordinary environment, but it's being creative with those pictures and then sharing them virtually. You get to give your mind a break and share your creativity. Also, consider creative writing forums to express your thoughts and receive feedback. Look, for help, hey, host a DIY day, a do it yourself day, where friends and family help with home projects or caregiving tasks. And you just do that in a round robin. Make it a fun event with food and music, turning chores into a social gathering. Or create a gratitude circle where you regularly share what you're thankful for with friends, fostering a supportive atmosphere. Another thing that's really important that you do through this process and emotional labor is set boundaries by practicing boundary setting role play. Do that with a trusted friend. This builds confidence and prepares you for a real life situation. Sometimes we can't bring ourselves to say what we really need. But if you practice it with someone, the time that you do need that extra oomph to say it, you'll have it. Use priority sorting to categorize tasks into urgent, important, and hey, this can wait, or I can delegate it. This will help set clear boundaries. This is one of my favorite things doing is this priority sorting. Prioritize personal time with micro adventures. I love creating micro adventures for my clients. Plan small local adventures like exploring a new park or visiting a museum. One of the things I realize, no matter where you live, there are things that people who come to visit would do that you've never done. You've always known it's there, but you've never actually taken the time to go do it. Well, go look at things around in your neighborhood. For us, there's a little petting farm, not even 3 miles from my home. And we always go when the grandkids come visit us. And so now that's something, even when I feel like I need to get away, I'll go to the petting zoo or there are wineries, whatever there is, there are breweries, there are antique. There's a lot of antiques in our area, and I never go and browse in the antique areas. But these are things that you can do that are rejuvenating and they're getaways. Or, okay, maybe you can't take the time to do that. Try a solo movie night, treating yourself to a movie with your favorite snacks. And you can do that in your own home, but just take the time for yourself. Balance your schedule with color-coded calendars. Wow, if you saw mine now, you'd be, ooh, that girl got a lot going on. But each color stands for different things. And certain colors doesn't mean it's something I'm doing, but it's something that I need to know that is going on, even though it leaves my calendar available. So use color-coded calendars to differentiate between caregiving tasks, personal time, and social activities. Implement theme weeks where every week or each week has a specific focus, keeping your schedule varied and engaging so you're not always doing the same thing. These unique strategies that I've been telling you about can help you manage emotional labor more effectively, ensuring you maintain your well being while providing the best care possible. But this doesn't always have to be in our home. This goes way beyond your home and your family. It's crucial that we start recognizing and validating the emotional labor that we perform daily. This recognition can begin within our communities by acknowledging the emotional efforts involved in caregiving and expressing gratitude. Whew. If you're listening to this and you're not a caregiver yourself, and you know someone who is, simple acts like writing thank you notes or highlighting their contribution in community newsletters can make a significant difference. Give them their props. And even if you are a caregiver, Doing this act for others who are in the same season of life that you are is even more special because it's coming from someone who knows, who really understands what they're experiencing. Creating spaces for open discussions about emotional labor is essential. Consider organizing, why not a caregivers cafe? Informal gatherings where caregivers can share their experiences and challenges in a supportive environment. Places like, well, even Starbucks and Panera Bread allow you to be in their space and to commune together. Hey, summer's coming up, find a park or maybe new coffee shop that you'd like to go to. Can't think of these on the moment, but they're there in your community. These can be held virtually or in person. And I'm telling you, in person is even better, providing a safe space for caregivers to voice their concerns and receive empathy and support. Listen, advocacy for policy changes is vital for long-term support. You cannot do it alone. It takes a village, it takes society, it takes your country, your government, everybody. So join or support initiatives that lobby for better caregiving support policies, such as paid caregivers leave or financial assistance and access to mental health services. Engage with your local representatives and advocate for policies that recognize and support caregivers' emotional labor. Participate in awareness campaigns and sign petitions that push the legislative changes. All of this is something that you can do to make a change, not only for you, but those who will be coming along in the same season of life. Before I go, I want to give you some resources and support organizations that you can check into. And when I finish, I will be putting these in the show notes. Things like National Alliance for Caregiving. It provides resources and advocacy for caregivers. Or Family Caregiver Alliance, which offers support, education, and advocacy for caregivers. How about Caregiver Action Network? They provide peer support and resources for caregivers. And AARP Caregiving offers a wealth of information and resources for caregivers. There are also hotlines and online communities for caregiving assistance, Caregiver Help Desk, Caregiver Action Network, and I'll put their number in the show notes below. Elder Care Locator, or online communities and forums like agingcare.com and Reddit r/caregivers provide spaces for caregivers to connect and share experiences. How about checking out some books? And hey, some of these books may even work for you and your caregiving group book club. And then there are websites for further reading, right? So the books like The Caregiver Season by Jane Daly and The Conscious Caregiver by Linda Abbott. And then again, websites like I talked about earlier, caregiver.org or aarp.org/caregiving. Today, look, I know I threw a lot at you, and I'll put these resources that I spoke about in the show notes. Now, we explored the concept of emotional labor in caregiving, understanding that it involves managing the emotional well-being of both the caregiver and the care recipient is so important. This often invisible work can lead to significant emotional and physical stress. Don't leave it unattended. Look, we discuss unique strategies for managing emotional labors, such as integrating joy into your daily routines, engaging in creative and sensory mindfulness practices, and seeking unconventional support networks, and setting clear boundaries to protect personal time and well-being. I know it sounds like a lot, but that's why I'm here. I encourage you to prioritize your emotional well being, recognize the importance of the work you do, and ensure that you are taking steps to manage the emotional labor involved. It's always best when you do this with someone else. Even me, I have a coach. And with my coach, she keeps me on track and moving forward. And that's what I'm here to help you with. I invite you to join the conversation on social media. I want you to join our conversation in our online community, Women Balancing Caregiving, Careers, and Self-Care, on Facebook, which will soon be opening. Share your stories, tips, and experiences with emotional labor in caregiving. Let us all help each other. And don't forget, I'll put this in the show notes as well. Go ahead and click the link and go ahead and sign up for Women Balancing Caregiving, Careers, and Self-Care so that you can be a part of this growing community. Let's support each other and create a community of understanding and empathy. I want to thank you for tuning in to the Caring Corner. Your dedication to caregiving is truly inspiring. And I hope today's episode has provided you with valuable insights and support. For more resources and to join our community, follow me on social media at Mischelle O'Neal, Mischelleoneal. Don't forget to check out the show notes, additional resources, and to join my newsletter. Reach out to me with any questions or suggestions you may have. And you know what? After talking to you today, I think I'm going to create you a a checklist of all these things we talked about, these ways that we can help combat emotional labor and put a little joy in your life. So go ahead and drop in the comments or DM me the word labor, LABOR, and I will send you that gift. In fact, I'll create it right after this episode. Until next time, take care. Thank you for being here. Stay strong. Bye-bye. All right, that's a wrap for today at the Caring Corner. We've tackled some big topics, but remember, you're not in this alone. Subscribe to keep the wisdom and warmth coming. And stay tuned for amazing guests who'll be joining us to help round out your caregiving toolkit. Catch you next time and keep conquering those challenges.